The silent threats destroying your life. Think your life is on track? Think again. Most of us assume we're making progress, working hard, chasing goals, and believing we're moving forward. But what if, without realizing it, we're slowly sabotaging our own success? What if the very habits we trust are actually the reason we feel stuck, exhausted, and unfulfilled? The truth is, destructive habits don't announce themselves. They don't show up with red flags. They don't feel like life-changing mistakes. Instead, they creep in unnoticed, disguised as comfort, routine, or even harmless indulgence. And, before you know it, they've taken control, steering you away from the life you actually want. I know this because I lived it. A few years ago, I thought I had everything under control. I was making decent money, had a solid group of friends, and was chasing my goals. But deep down, something felt off. I was always exhausted. I felt stressed for no reason. I blamed bad luck, my job, my relationships, everything except myself. Then, one morning it hit me. I woke up after a full night's sleep and still felt drained. No motivation, no clarity, just an overwhelming sense of being stuck. That was the moment I realized this wasn't just a few bad days. This was my life. So I did something uncomfortable. I took a long, hard look at my daily habits, my mindset, and the way I approached life. And what I found was eye-opening. It wasn't one big mistake ruining my life. It was a collection of small, seemingly harmless behaviors that were silently destroying my future. And I'm willing to bet you might be dealing with the same thing. These habits don't just affect your career. They impact your relationships, your happiness, and your future. They create a slow, steady decline that leads to regret, wasted time, missed opportunities. But here's the good news. Once you recognize them, you can change them. So today, I want to share with you the most toxic habits that nearly ruined my life and will ruin yours if you don't stop them now. Let's dive in. The comfort of agreement is a trap at first. It feels great to be surrounded by people who always agree with you. Your friends, colleagues, even your family. They nod along, support your ideas, and never question your decisions. It feels reassuring. It boosts your confidence, but that comfort comes at a dangerous price. The wake-up call, how this nearly ruined me. I learned this the hard way. For years, I surrounded myself with people who constantly reinforced my opinions. Every idea I had, every decision I made, no one challenged me. And I thought that meant I was doing everything right. Then came the reality check. I pitched what I believed was a groundbreaking project at work. My team, filled with yes men, praised it. No one questioned me. No one pointed out flaws. I walked out feeling invincible. Then the project flopped. Hard. And when I went back to analyze what went wrong, I realized my team had seen the weaknesses, but they stayed silent. Not because they agreed, not because they believed in my idea, but because they didn't want to challenge me. That was a wake-up call. I thought I was surrounding myself with support, but in reality, I was building an echo chamber that made me blind to my own mistakes. And I see this pattern everywhere, in history, in business, in personal relationships. The truth? The people around you can either push you forward or hold you back. The yes men trap in history and business. This isn't just my story. Some of the most powerful leaders and businesses in history have been destroyed by yes men. Napoleon's downfall. In his early years, Napoleon questioned everything. He surrounded himself with brilliant generals who challenged his ideas. But as his power grew, so did his arrogance. He stopped listening. His inner circle stopped speaking up. Then came 1812, the disastrous invasion of Russia. His advisors saw the warning signs: lack of supplies, brutal winters, stretched supply lines. But no one dared to challenge him. The result? His empire never recovered. A business that ignored reality, Kodak dominated photography for decades. But when digital cameras emerged, their inner circle insisted Film will always be king. They had the technology before their competitors. They could have led the market. Instead, they stayed in their bubble, ignored change, refused to challenge their own assumptions. And today, Kodak is a shadow of what it used to be. The pattern is clear. Surround yourself with yes men and you will fail. Surround yourself with challengers and you will grow. Why this happens? The psychology of confirmation. Bias. So why do people fall into this trap? Because of confirmation bias. Our natural tendency to seek out information that confirms what we already believe while ignoring anything that contradicts it. Think about it. You follow news sources that align with your views. You surround yourself with people who share your opinions. You dismiss criticism, even when it's valid. Over time, this creates an echo chamber. Your ideas are never tested. Your perspectives never expand. Your weaknesses stay hidden until they come back to bite you. And here's the irony. The most successful people in history actively seek out opposing viewpoints. They know that real growth comes from challenge, not blind praise. How to fix this? Build a devil's advocate circle. So how do you protect yourself from this trap? By creating what I call a devil's advocate circle. A group of people who will challenge your ideas, expose your blind spots, and push you to think differently. Steps to build a devil's advocate circle. Find at least 3 people you trust. Mentors, colleagues, friends who will give you honest, constructive feedback. Encourage them to challenge you. Tell them, I don't just want support, I want truth. Ask, what am I missing? Instead of seeking agreement, actively search for flaws in your thinking. Rotate perspectives. If you only get feedback from the same type of people, you'll still have blind spots. Seek out different backgrounds, industries, and experiences. Detach your ego. Most people avoid criticism because it stings, but the temporary discomfort of being wrong is far better than the long-term pain of failure. Growth comes from challenge. At the end of the day, surrounding yourself with yes men feels good, but it's a long-term trap. If you want to grow, if you want to make the best decisions for your future, you need people in your life who will challenge you, push you, tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. So take a hard look at the people around you. Are they pushing you to be better? Or are they just keeping you comfortable? If it's the latter, it's time to make a change. Because real success comes from embracing discomfort, not avoiding it. Next habit, the danger of taking everything personally. Why taking everything personally is a fast track to misery. For years, I let other people control my emotions without even realizing it. Every critique, every offhand comment, and even harmless jokes felt like personal attacks. If someone pointed out a flaw in my work, I took it as a judgment on my intelligence. If a friend canceled plans, I assumed they didn't care about me. If someone ignored my message, I immediately thought I had done something wrong. This way of thinking was exhausting. I was constantly overanalyzing every interaction, letting my emotions spiral over things that, in reality, had nothing to do with me. One moment that really stands out was when my manager gave me constructive feedback on a project I had been working on for weeks. Instead of seeing it as an opportunity to improve, I felt insulted. I shut down, got defensive, and let resentment build. I was so focused on my own feelings that I missed the chance to grow. I see now that I wasn't alone in this struggle. Many people take things personally, assuming that every piece of feedback, every offhand remark, and every action from someone else is a direct reflection of their own worth. But the truth is, most of the time, people's actions have nothing to do with you. The modern epidemic, social media, and outrage culture. In today's world, this problem is worse than ever. Social media has made taking things personally the norm. A stranger posts an opinion online, and suddenly people feel personally attacked. Someone disagrees with a belief, and it's seen as an assault on identity. A celebrity makes a statement, and people assume it was directed at them. Social media amplifies emotional reactions and rewards outrage. The more offended you are, the more engagement you get. The angrier you are, the more people pay attention, the more dramatic your response, the more likes, shares, and comments you receive. This has created a culture where people are actively searching for reasons to feel insulted rather than learning how to detach. Take a step back and ask yourself, am I reacting to what was actually said or to the emotions I attach to it? Most of the time, we are responding to our own internal fears and insecurities, not to reality. It's not the event, it's your perception of it. The Stoics figured this out over 2,000 years ago. One of the greatest Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, said, "People are disturbed not by things, but by their views of things." Think about that. Events, words, and actions are neutral. It is your interpretation of them that determines how you feel. If someone criticizes your work, you can either see it as an attack or as free advice to improve. If a friend cancels plans, you can either assume they don't value you or recognize that they may be dealing with their own problems. If someone ignores your message, you can either believe they are mad at you or accept that they might just be busy. The difference is all in your perspective, and when you shift that perspective, you take back control. How to stop taking things personally, the observer mode. If you want to stop taking everything personally, you need to develop emotional detachment. This doesn't mean becoming cold or uncaring. It means learning to see situations objectively rather than reacting emotionally. One of the best ways to do this is through the observer mode. How to practice. Observer mode. Pause before reacting. When something upsets you, stop. Don't react immediately. Take a breath. See yourself from a third-person perspective. Imagine you are watching a movie where someone else, you, is experiencing this moment. How would an outsider interpret it? Ask yourself key questions. What is the most rational explanation for this? Does this actually impact my life, or am I making it bigger than it is? If I had zero emotions involved, how would I see this? Separate facts from feelings. Just because you feel something does not mean it is true. Detach and choose your response. Instead of letting emotions control you, consciously decide how you want to respond. Why this works: it stops impulsive, emotional reactions. It helps you see situations logically. It prevents misunderstandings and unnecessary stress. Once you master this, most of what upsets you will stop affecting you. Freedom comes from letting go. When you take everything personally, you give other people power over your emotions. You let their words, actions, and opinions dictate how you feel. But the moment you stop reacting emotionally, you take back control. You free yourself from unnecessary stress, misunderstandings, wasted energy on things that don't matter. So the next time someone says or does something that triggers you, ask yourself, is this actually about me, or am I just making it personal? Chances are it is not about you at all. And when you let go of that, you will feel lighter, happier, more in control of your life. Next habit, the trap of reckless spending. The illusion of wealth and the trap of reckless spending. For a long time, I thought money was meant to be spent as soon as I got it. I told myself, I work hard. I deserve to enjoy my money. I lived paycheck to paycheck, indulging in expensive dinners, impulse shopping, and unnecessary luxuries. I wasn't thinking about my future. I was chasing instant gratification, and for a while it felt great. Every purchase gave me a temporary high. A new gadget, a fancy night out, another vacation. I couldn't really afford, but then reality hit. One day, an unexpected medical bill arrived. I had no savings, no backup plan. I felt completely powerless. The stress, the anxiety, it all came crashing down. It was in that moment I realized I wasn't in control of my money. My money was controlling me, and I wasn't alone. Millions of people fall into this trap, spending recklessly without realizing the long-term consequences. The problem isn't just overspending. It's a mindset that prioritizes short-term pleasure over long-term security. The celebrity money curse. When fortune fades, if you think reckless spending is just a problem for the average person, think again. Some of the wealthiest athletes, musicians, and actors in history have made, and lost, millions because they failed to control their spending. Mike Tyson earned over $400 million in his boxing career, yet he filed for bankruptcy in 2003. Lavish. Mansions, exotic animals, and reckless spending drained his fortune. MC Hammer made $70 million in the 90s, but lost it all due to extravagant purchases, including a $30 million mansion and a staff of 200 people. Johnny Depp, once one of Hollywood's highest-paid actors, burned through $650 million, spending $2 million per month on luxuries like private islands, rare art, and extravagant parties. These stories prove one thing: it's not about how much money you make. It's about how well you manage it. Mindset shift. Money. Freedom, not just spending power. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is that money is just for spending. That's a dangerous mindset. The truth: money isn't just currency, it's freedom. Freedom to quit a job you hate without fear. Freedom to handle emergencies without panic. Freedom to invest in opportunities that grow your future. When you start seeing money as a tool for stability and control, your entire approach to spending changes. You stop chasing short-term highs and start focusing on long-term security. So, how do you break the habit of reckless spending and start building financial freedom? The 50-30-20 rule. A simple, powerful system for money management. One of the best ways to regain control over your finances is to follow the 50-30-20 rule. A simple budgeting system that ensures you're not just spending but also saving and investing for the future. How it works. 50% of your income goes to needs: rent, food, bills, healthcare, and essentials. 30% of your income goes to wants: dining out, entertainment, shopping, vacations. 20% of your income goes to savings and investments: emergency funds, retirement, stocks, or any form of future financial growth. Why this works? It balances your life. You still enjoy your money, but you also secure your future. It forces you to prioritize. You become aware of where your money is going. It builds financial discipline. Over time, you learn to make smarter choices. If you're new to budgeting, start small. Track your spending for 1 month. Identify where your money is leaking: subscription services you don't use, impulse buys, unnecessary upgrades. Then, adjust and apply the 50-30-20 rule. Choose financial freedom over short-term. Pleasure. Reckless spending feels good in the moment, but it leads to stress, regret, and a lack of control over your future. The key to financial success isn't making more money, it's managing what you already have. So ask yourself, are you controlling your money, or is your money controlling you? By shifting your mindset and applying the 50-30-20 rule, you can break free from the cycle of reckless spending and start building real financial freedom. Next habit: the weight of harboring resentment. How holding on to resentment is slowly destroying you. For years, I held on to past grievances like they were battle scars, proof that I had been wronged, that I had suffered unjustly. I told myself that my anger was justified, that remembering every betrayal and every slight would somehow protect me from being hurt again. But in reality, my resentment wasn't protecting me, it was poisoning me. I remember a specific situation with a close friend who betrayed my trust. I had helped him during a difficult time, only to be met with lies and manipulation in return. Instead of confronting the issue or moving on, I let my bitterness fester. Every time his name was mentioned, I felt a rush of anger. I replayed the situation in my head, fueling my resentment like a fire that never died. The worst part? He had moved on with his life, completely unaware of the weight I was carrying. The only person suffering was me. Resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It doesn't hurt them. It only destroys you from the inside out. The science of resentment. What it does to your mind and body, what I didn't realize at the time is that resentment isn't just an emotional burden. It has real physical consequences. Studies have shown that chronic resentment and holding on to anger can lead to increased stress hormone levels, cortisol, which weakens your immune system, higher risk of heart disease and high blood pressure due to prolonged stress, increased anxiety and depression from constantly reliving negative emotions, impaired sleep and cognitive function, making it harder to focus and enjoy life. One study from Emory University found that holding on to resentment can be as damaging to your health as chronic stress. Your body goes into fight or flight mode every time you relive the grievance, even if the event happened years ago. So if resentment is so toxic, why do we hold on to it? Because we believe that if we let go, it means we are letting the other person win. But the truth is, letting go of resentment isn't about them. It's about freeing yourself. The Stoic perspective. Letting go for your own peace. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "Anger is like a storm rising from the ocean. It is powerful but temporary. Let it pass and the water will be calm again." Stoicism teaches us that anger is a choice. When we hold on to resentment, we are choosing to keep reliving pain that should have already passed. We are voluntarily shackling ourselves to something we cannot change, instead of being controlled by resentment. Stoics practice emotional detachment, seeing emotions for what they are, fleeting reactions, not permanent truths. If you want peace, you must learn to release the things that no longer serve you. How to let go. The Write and Burn. Exercise 1. Of the most powerful ways to release resentment is through a technique I call the Write and Burn exercise. Here's how it works. Find a quiet space. Grab a pen and a piece of paper. Write down everything you resent. Every betrayal, every slight, every grudge you've been holding on to. Be raw, be honest. Don't censor yourself. Read it back to yourself. Acknowledge how much mental space these thoughts have been taking up. Burn it, safely. Watch the paper turn to ash. This is a symbolic act of release, a way of physically letting go of the burden. Why this works. It externalizes your resentment instead of letting it live in your mind. It gives you closure by physically destroying the list. It reinforces the Stoic mindset. Your past no longer has power over you. Free yourself by releasing. Resentment. Holding on to resentment is a form of self-imposed suffering. The people who wronged you aren't carrying your anger. You are. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean what happened was okay. It simply means you refuse to let the past steal your present happiness. So ask yourself, do I want to stay stuck in this cycle of bitterness? Or do I want to move forward and reclaim my peace? Choose peace. Choose growth. Choose to let go. Next, habit, the cost of procrastination. The silent killer of dreams. I used to think procrastination was just a bad habit, something I could shake off when it really mattered. But I learned the hard way that procrastination is a silent killer of potential. It creeps into your daily routine, whispering excuses in your ear. I'll do it tomorrow and I work better under pressure. I just need to be in the right mood. One of my worst experiences with procrastination was in university. I had a massive final paper that would heavily impact my grade. Instead of working on it steadily, I convinced myself that I needed the right moment to get started. Days turned into weeks. I watched Netflix, scrolled through social media, convinced myself that other things were more important. Then suddenly, it was the night before the deadline. Panic set in. I pulled an all-nighter, rushed through the assignment, and turned in a mediocre paper. The grade reflected my lack of effort, and I felt the weight of my own failure. The stress, the regret, the lost opportunities, all of it was self-inflicted. What I didn't realize at the time was that my procrastination wasn't laziness. It was fear. Fear of failure, fear of not doing a perfect job, Fear of starting something difficult. The difference between action takers and procrastinators, if you look at the most successful people in any field, business, sports, entertainment, or science, you'll notice one key trait: they take immediate action. Elon Musk doesn't wait for the perfect moment to start a company. He jumps in, iterates, and adapts. Michael Jordan didn't wait until he felt ready to practice. He showed up every day refining his craft. Jeff Bezos started Amazon from a garage, knowing it wasn't perfect but understanding that starting imperfectly is better than never starting at all. Now, compare that to the people who delay, waiting for one day to start their goals. They have ideas, they have dreams, but they never execute. Years pass and they wonder why they haven't made progress. The difference? High performers start now. Procrastinators wait for the perfect time that never comes. The psychology of procrastination: it's not laziness, it's fear. We often think of procrastination as a lack of discipline, but research suggests it's actually a defense mechanism against fear and discomfort. Psychologists call this the procrastination fear loop. Here's how it works. Fear kicks in. You worry that your work won't be perfect, that people might judge you, or that you'll fail. Your brain seeks comfort. Instead of starting, you distract yourself with easy tasks, social media, TV, unnecessary chores. Temporary relief. You feel better for avoiding the stress, but only for a short while. The deadline gets closer, panic sets in. Now, you're even more stressed than before. You rush the work, produce subpar results, and feel guilty. The cycle repeats. The key takeaway? Procrastination isn't about laziness, it's about emotional avoidance. So how do you break free from it? The 5-minute rule, the ultimate hack to overcome procrastination. One of the most effective ways to stop procrastinating is to use the 5-minute rule, a psychological trick that gets you moving before your brain has time to resist. How it works. When you're avoiding a task, tell yourself, I'm just going to do this for 5 minutes. No pressure to finish, no commitment, just 5 minutes. What happens? You almost always keep going. The hardest part of any task is starting. Once you begin, momentum takes over. Why this works? It bypasses the fear mechanism. You're not committing to the whole task, just 5 minutes, which feels easy. It tricks your brain into action. Once you start, you're much more likely to continue. It builds consistency. Even small progress is better than none. This technique is so powerful that it's used by behavioral psychologists to help people build habits, overcome fear, and take action. Do it now. Not later. Procrastination isn't just a bad habit. It's a life killer. It steals your time, your potential, and your opportunities. But the good news, you can break free from it. Start small. Start now. Use the 5-minute rule and take action today, because the difference between success and regret isn't talent. It's the willingness to start when others wait. Next, habit: overcommitting and underdelivering. The trap of saying yes to everything. For a long time, I believed that saying yes to every opportunity, every request, and every responsibility would make me more successful. I thought that by constantly proving my reliability and willingness to help, I would earn more respect, more opportunities, and more success. But instead, I became exhausted, overwhelmed, and ineffective. I remember a time when I took on multiple projects at work, agreed to help friends with their side businesses, and even volunteered for extra commitments in my community. At first, it felt good. I was busy, important, in demand. But soon the cracks started to show. Deadlines were missed. My work quality suffered. I let people down because I had stretched myself too thin. My health deteriorated. My stress levels skyrocketed, and worst of all, I started breaking promises to myself and to others. The irony? I had said yes to impress people, but my inability to follow through only made me seem less reliable. Overcommitting doesn't make you look good. It makes you look inconsistent. The historical lesson: the downfall of giants. Due to overexpansion, this habit isn't just a personal problem. It has taken down some of the biggest companies and leaders in history. Blockbuster's fall from the top. Blockbuster was once the king of home entertainment. At its peak, it had over 9,000 stores worldwide and billions in revenue. But instead of focusing on quality service and innovation, they aggressively expanded, opening too many stores too quickly while ignoring the digital revolution. Meanwhile, a small company called Netflix focused on doing one thing exceptionally well: streaming. Today, Netflix dominates the industry, while Blockbuster is nothing but a memory. Napoleon's overcommitment in war. Napoleon Bonaparte was one of history's greatest military minds. But his downfall began when he overcommitted to too many battles at once. He stretched his army too thin by invading Russia while still fighting wars across Europe. The result? A disastrous campaign that destroyed his army and his empire. The lesson here is clear. Overcommitment leads to failure, not because of lack of effort, but because energy is spread too thin. The mindset shift. Quality over quantity. Saying no is self-respect. Most people struggle with saying no because they fear disappointing others. But the truth is, saying no to things that don't align with your priorities is an act of self-respect. Think of your time, energy, and focus like a bank account. Every commitment you make is a withdrawal. If you say yes to everything, you'll eventually run out of resources. And once you're depleted, you'll start failing at everything. Instead of trying to do everything, focus on doing a few things exceptionally well. How to stop overcommitting. The hell yes or no framework. One of the most powerful tools to prevent overcommitment is the hell yes or no rule, a concept popularized by entrepreneur Derek Sivers. How it works. When faced with an opportunity, decision, or commitment, ask yourself, am I genuinely excited about this? Does it align with my goals and values? If the answer is hell yes, then go all in. If the answer is anything less than that, if it's just a lukewarm sure or I guess I could, then it's a no. Why this works. It eliminates half-hearted commitments that drain your energy. It forces you to focus on what truly matters. It makes your yeses more powerful because they are backed by true passion and effort. If Blockbuster had said hell no to pointless store expansions and focused on streaming, they might still be around today. If Napoleon had said hell no to spreading his army too thin, he might have ruled longer. And if you start saying hell no to things that don't serve you, you'll reclaim your time, energy, and focus for the things that truly do. Less is more. Choose wisely. Overcommitting doesn't make you a hero. It makes you ineffective. The real power comes from knowing what deserves your time and attention. So ask yourself, am I saying yes out of fear of missing out? Or because I truly believe in this commitment? If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Because the key to success isn't doing more, it's doing better. Next habit, the illusion of relying on luck. The dangerous illusion of waiting for luck. For a long time, I believed that luck was the missing piece to success. I thought that if I just waited for the right opportunity, met the right person, or stumbled upon the perfect moment, everything would fall into place. I had dreams, big ones. I wanted to launch a business, build financial independence, and create something meaningful. But instead of taking action, I spent years hoping for a breakthrough. I told myself things like, one day I'll get my lucky break. Maybe someone will recognize my potential and give me a shot. I just need the perfect timing. But nothing happened, no lucky break, no perfect moment. Because luck never arrives for those who just sit and wait. It wasn't until I started putting in real, deliberate effort, working every single day, even when I saw no immediate results, that opportunities started to appear. And guess what? They didn't come from luck. They came from the momentum of consistent work. The truth about luck. It's an excuse for inaction. Many people believe that success is a matter of being in the right place at the right time. But the reality is, luck is nothing without preparation. Think about the most successful people in history. Were they simply lucky? Real-world example. The discipline of entrepreneurs. Consider Elon Musk, one of the most successful entrepreneurs of our time. Many look at Tesla and SpaceX and assume he got lucky. Right idea, right time. But what most people don't see are the decades of relentless effort, failures, and sacrifices that led to his breakthroughs. In the early days of PayPal, Musk worked 100-hour weeks, sleeping on his office floor. When Tesla was on the verge of collapse, he put in his last $40 million to save it. SpaceX had 3 failed rocket launches before they finally succeeded, and only because Musk kept iterating and pushing forward. Was it luck that made him successful? Or was it his unwavering work ethic and refusal to quit? This same principle applies to anyone who's built something great. Jeff Bezos didn't wait for Amazon to magically grow. He built a system that allowed it to dominate e-commerce. Oprah Winfrey didn't sit around waiting for the perfect TV gig. She mastered her craft, took risks, and created her own success. Michael Jordan wasn't just born great. He practiced harder than anyone else, turning raw talent into unstoppable skill. These people weren't lucky. They were prepared. Fortune favors the prepared. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. One of the most powerful Stoic teachings is, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Seneca, in other words, luck isn't random. It's a byproduct of preparation. If you spend your time honing your skills, working on your craft, and building systems, then when an opportunity comes, you'll be ready to seize it. But if you do nothing and just hope for good fortune, opportunities will come and go without you even recognizing them. How to stop relying on luck. Build systems, not wishes. The best way to eliminate luck from your success equation is to create systems that make progress inevitable. Why systems beat goals? A goal is just a wish. I want to be successful. I want to be in great shape. I want to build a business. A system is an action plan that guarantees progress. I will work on my craft for 2 hours every day. I will exercise for 30 minutes daily. I will post 1 piece of content per week to grow my audience. How to create a system for success. Identify what you want to achieve. Example, I want to build a successful business. Break it down into daily repeatable actions. Example, every day I will spend 2 hours learning marketing and applying it. Make it automatic. Example, schedule your work time so it becomes a habit, not just an intention. Track your progress. Example, measure your effort, not just the results. Success is built in the process, not the outcome. If you follow this, you'll stop relying on luck because you'll be creating your own opportunities every day. Stop waiting. Start preparing. The biggest difference between successful people and those who never reach their potential is this. Unsuccessful people wait for luck. Successful people prepare so that when opportunities arise, they're ready. So ask yourself, are you waiting for luck or are you preparing for success? Start today. Build your system. Take consistent action. And when luck does come knocking, you'll be ready to open the door. Next habit, avoiding responsibility. The cost of dodging accountability. There was a time in my life when I would do anything to avoid admitting I was wrong. If something went wrong at work, I had a list of excuses ready, blaming external factors, my team, or even just bad luck. I convinced myself that my failures weren't really my fault. They were the result of circumstances beyond my control. One particular moment stands out. I was leading a project that started to go off the rails. Deadlines were being missed. Communication was failing, and frustration was building among the team. Instead of stepping up and taking charge, I pointed fingers. The team didn't follow my instructions properly. The client changed the scope, so it's their fault. There just wasn't enough time to get everything done. I thought, shifting blame would protect me. Instead, it did the opposite. My credibility suffered, my team lost trust in me, and the project still failed. Worst of all, I felt powerless. Because when you refuse to take responsibility, you also surrender control over your life. That was the day I learned. Dodging responsibility doesn't save you. It weakens you. The leadership lesson. Great leaders own their mistakes. If you look at the most respected leaders in history, whether in business, sports, or the military, you'll notice one thing. They take full responsibility for everything that happens under their leadership. Example 1. Howard Schultz, Starbucks CEO. When Starbucks began losing its edge in the mid-2000s, its CEO, Howard Schultz, didn't blame the economy or competition. Instead, he publicly admitted, "We lost our way. We got distracted by growth and forgot what made Starbucks special." Instead of making excuses, he took ownership and made drastic changes, shutting down stores, retraining baristas, and refocusing on quality. Because of that, Starbucks made one of the greatest corporate comebacks in history. Jocko Willink and the U.S. Navy SEALs, Jocko Willink, a former Navy SEAL commander, led a difficult mission in Iraq where a miscommunication led to disastrous results. Instead of blaming his team or external circumstances, he took full responsibility, even though he could have pointed fingers. His philosophy, later written in his book Extreme Ownership, is simple. A leader must own everything in his or her world. There is no one else to blame. This kind of mindset separates true leaders from those who make excuses. The mindset shift, taking responsibility, taking control. Most people avoid responsibility because they believe it protects them from consequences. But in reality, the opposite is true. The more responsibility you take, the more power you have over your life. If you take full responsibility for your health, you'll stop making excuses about genetics or busy schedules and start taking action. If you take full responsibility for your career, you won't blame your boss or bad luck for your lack of progress. You'll find ways to grow and improve. If you take full responsibility for your relationships, you'll stop expecting people to change for you and start becoming the type of person who attracts great relationships. Blame is easy. Responsibility is hard, but only one of them leads to progress. How to fix this? The extreme ownership mindset. If you want to change your life, you need to adopt the extreme ownership mindset, meaning you take responsibility for everything in your life, even when it seems unfair. How to practice extreme ownership. Own your mistakes. The next time something goes wrong, don't point fingers. Ask, what could I have done differently? Stop making excuses instead of blaming. External factors, focus on what you can control. Be proactive, not reactive. Don't wait for problems to fix themselves. Take the lead. Lead by example. Whether at work or in personal life, show responsibility before expecting it from others. Ask, what's my role in this? In any conflict or failure, analyze how your actions contributed, then fix them. By doing this, you shift from a victim mindset to a leadership mindset. Responsibility. Freedom. At the end of the day, the most successful people in the world aren't the ones who got lucky. They're the ones who took ownership of their choices, their actions, and their lives. The more responsibility you take, the more control you gain. Your success, your happiness, your growth, it all starts with one decision. Will you take responsibility, or will you make excuses? Next habit, ignoring your health. The wake-up call I didn't see coming. I used to believe that health was something I could worry about later. Work, deadlines, social life, those came first. Sleep was optional. Exercise felt like a luxury. Eating healthy seemed like too much. Effort, I told myself. I'll take care of my health once I have more time. But that time never came. Instead, my energy levels plummeted. I felt constantly exhausted, irritable, and unable to focus. My productivity dropped. My motivation disappeared, and I was always one small setback away from burnout. Then one day, my body gave me a reality check. I was working late nights, running on caffeine and stress, ignoring every sign that I was running on empty. Until one day I felt a sharp pain in my chest, dizziness took over, and I collapsed at work. I woke up in a hospital bed, The doctor's words hit me harder than anything I had ever heard. If you keep living like this, your body is going to shut down permanently. That was my wake-up call. The moment I realized you don't have time to be sick, so prioritize health now or pay for it later. The shocking truth. How poor health destroys everything. Ignoring your health doesn't just affect you physically. It destroys your career, your relationships, and your entire future. Career impact studies show that burnout reduces productivity by 50%, meaning you will work longer hours for worse results. Chronic stress impairs memory, focus, and decision-making, making it harder to succeed in high-performance jobs. Executives who prioritize their health earn more and lead better because a clear mind leads to smarter decisions. Relationship impact. A study from the Journal of Social Psychology found that poor physical health increases irritability and conflict in relationships. When you are constantly tired and stressed, you are less patient, less present, and less capable of meaningful connections. Divorce rates are 50% higher among couples, where one or both partners suffer from chronic stress and fatigue. Longevity impact. Sleep deprivation increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, and early death by 30%. Sedentary lifestyles increase the risk of diabetes and obesity, leading to a lifetime of medical complications. The average person spends over 10 years of their life dealing with preventable health issues. The mindset shift. Health is an investment, not an expense. Most people treat health as an afterthought, something to fix when it is already broken. But the truth is, your body is your most valuable asset. If it fails, everything else collapses with it. You don't find time for health. You make time, the same way you schedule work, meetings, or social events. Health isn't a cost, it is an investment. Every minute spent on your health today saves years of suffering later. Think of it this way: would you rather invest 30 minutes a day in your health now, or spend years dealing with medical problems later? Would you rather sleep 7 hours a night, or spend thousands on hospital bills because of stress-related illness? Would you rather eat well today, or suffer from preventable diseases in the future? The choice is yours. But if you don't prioritize your health, life will force you to. The fix. The non-negotiable. 3 health habit. Want to stay sharp, energized, and successful long-term? Follow the non-negotiable 3. 3 simple daily habits that guarantee better health no matter how busy you are. Sleep 7 or more hours. Every night lack of sleep increases stress, weakens your immune system, and reduces brain function. Fix. Set a sleep schedule. Avoid screens an hour before bed. Prioritize deep rest. Exercise for 30 minutes. Daily sitting all day leads to obesity, heart disease, and chronic pain. Fix. Walk, stretch, lift weights, or do cardio. Move your body daily. Eat whole, unprocessed foods. Processed foods lead to energy crashes, weight gain, and inflammation. Fix. Focus on lean proteins, vegetables, and healthy fats. Cut out excess sugar and junk food. These 3 simple habits will increase your energy, boost productivity, and extend your lifespan. Health. First, success follows at the end of the day. Nothing matters if your health is failing. You can't work, can't enjoy life, and can't be present for the people you love. So ask yourself, are you going to keep pushing your health aside, or are you finally going to treat it like the priority it is? Because the truth is, success doesn't come to those who grind themselves into exhaustion. It comes to those who protect their energy, their body, and their mind. Take care of yourself now, and your future self will thank you. Next habit. The danger of surrounding yourself with negative influences. The silent poison of negativity. For years, I didn't realize how much my environment was shaping my thoughts, my decisions, and ultimately, my future. I surrounded myself with people who constantly complained about life, blamed others for their problems, and focused on everything that was wrong with the world. At first, I thought it was harmless. I believed I was strong enough to stay positive, even in the middle of all the negativity. But slowly, without even noticing, I started adopting their mindset. I began doubting my own ambitions, questioning whether success was even possible. Started finding problems instead of solutions, focusing more on obstacles than opportunities. My motivation drained, my outlook on life became cynical, and I felt stuck. One day, I caught myself making the same negative remarks I had heard from them. That was my wake-up call. I wasn't just listening to negativity, I was absorbing it and becoming part of it. That is when I learned. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. The people around you will shape you, whether you realize it or not. The science of negativity. How it rewires your brain. Negativity is not just an attitude, it is a neurological pattern. Studies in neuroscience have shown that constant exposure to negative thoughts and pessimistic people actually rewires your brain. The brain's negativity. Bias. Your brain is naturally wired to focus more on negative experiences than positive ones. When you are constantly surrounded by negativity, your brain strengthens those pathways, making pessimistic thinking your default mode. Cortisol. Overload. Negative environments trigger chronic stress, increasing cortisol levels, which weakens your immune system, reduces motivation, and increases anxiety. Mirror neurons in action. Your brain has mirror neurons that cause you to subconsciously adopt the behaviors and attitudes of the people around you. If you spend time with complainers, you become a complainer. If you surround yourself with action takers, you become one. The more negativity you allow into your life, the harder it becomes to escape that mindset. The mindset shift. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Entrepreneur and motivational speaker Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Think about that for a moment. If you spend time with ambitious, driven people, you will naturally adopt their habits and mindset. If you surround yourself with excuse makers and complainers, you will subconsciously limit your own potential. If you are constantly in toxic environments, filled with gossip, drama, and pessimism, that will become your default state of thinking. Your relationships shape your reality. So if you want to change your life, you have to change who you allow into it. The fix: detox your circle. Every 6 months, just like you detox your body from junk food, you need to detox your social circle from toxic influences. How to audit your relationships. Write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. Ask yourself these 3 questions. Do they encourage me or drain me? Do they push me toward growth or hold me back? Do they inspire me or fill me with doubt and negativity? Make adjustments. Spend more time with people who uplift, challenge, and inspire you. Limit exposure to those who constantly complain, criticize, or discourage you. If needed, cut ties completely with toxic people who refuse to change. What if you can't avoid negative people? Limit interactions. Spend less time around them. Control the conversation. Steer discussions away from negativity. Be the positive influence. Set an example for others instead of letting them drag you down. Choose your environment. Choose your future. The truth is, your future is being shaped right now by the people you surround yourself with. So ask yourself, are the people around me pushing me toward success, happiness, and growth? Or are they holding me back in a cycle of negativity and excuses? If you are serious about changing your life, start by changing your environment. Surround yourself with winners, dreamers, and action takers. Because when you do, success is no longer a possibility, it becomes inevitable. Final thoughts. Breaking free from life. Ruining habits. Looking back at all the habits that almost ruined my life, I realize one thing. None of these destructive patterns happened overnight. They crept in slowly, disguised as harmless choices. But left unchecked, they led to frustration, stagnation, and regret. The good news is, once you recognize them, you can change them. Instead of surrounding yourself with yes men, seek out honest feedback. Instead of taking everything personally, detach and view things objectively. Instead of surrounding yourself with yes men, seek out honest feedback. Instead of taking everything personally, detach and view things objectively. Instead of spending recklessly, build financial discipline. Instead of holding on to resentment, let go and move forward. Instead of procrastinating, take action immediately. Instead of overcommitting, say no to what doesn't serve you. Instead of waiting for luck, build habits that create success. Instead of avoiding responsibility, take ownership of your life. Instead of neglecting your health, make it a priority. Instead of surrounding yourself with negativity, cultivate an environment of growth. Success is not about luck, talent, or intelligence. It is about eliminating the habits that hold you back and replacing them with ones that push you forward. So start today. Identify the habits that are sabotaging you and make the decision to break free. Because the life you want is not built by chance, it is built by the choices you make every single day. Everything we have talked about comes down to one simple truth. Your habits determine your future. The life you are living today is the result of the choices you have made over time, good or bad. Small bad habits may seem insignificant at first, but left unchecked, they snowball into life-altering consequences. A little procrastination here and there turns into years of wasted potential. Holding on to resentment for too long becomes a lifetime of bitterness and missed opportunities. Surrounding yourself with negative influences slowly erodes your confidence and ambition. Ignoring your health one day at a time eventually leads to chronic issues that steal your energy and limit your success. But here's the good news. If bad habits can destroy your future, good habits can build an extraordinary one. Taking responsibility for your life puts you in control of your success. Cutting out toxic influences creates space for growth and inspiration. Prioritizing your health gives you the energy to chase your dreams. Taking action instead of procrastinating creates unstoppable momentum. The challenge: take control of your life today. Now it is time to take action. Right now, I challenge you to do two things. Pick one bad habit to break, something that has been holding you back. Pick one positive habit to replace it with, a habit that will push you towards success. It does not have to be a massive change. Start small. But start today, because the truth is your future self will either thank you or regret the choices you make right now. The power of systems. There is a powerful quote that sums this up perfectly. We do not rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. Success is not about setting big goals and hoping for the best. It is about building systems and habits that guarantee progress. So take control of your habits, and you take control of your life. Make the decision today to break free from the habits that are holding you back and start building the future you deserve.